In my field of work, I give a lot of tours. People come to see if what they've heard is true, and then they start to ask questions. Stella, how did over 100 neurodiverse adults find themselves thriving within a fully inclusive community? How did young adults, many of whom are non-speaking, almost all of whom are autistic, find competitive employment? But Stella, how do they write, produce, and host a news show every week, a podcast every month? How have they become truly needed, valued, and respected members of their community? Well, it all started with my son, Nicholas. My son never crawled and did not play appropriately with his toys. At 10 months, all sounds stopped. He is apraxic, and elopement and fascination with traffic were and continue to be serious safety issues. We also realized from a young age that Nicholas had sensory integration dysfunction disorder. What does this mean? In short, my son is a prisoner in his own body. He could not motor plan or react appropriately in any environment, even when he was being injured. Nicholas has a communication and a language disorder, which eventually led to behavior issues because of his frustration. Nicholas needed and continues to need a bodyguard to protect him from himself. And at age 17, Nicholas started having seizures. Managing them and the breakthrough seizures continues to be a challenge. Overall, despite spending all of our time, energy, connections, and resources on world-class intervention and care for our son, Nicholas has spent his life dealing with barriers that most people could never imagine facing even for one day. My husband's way of coping with Nicholas's challenges was to ignore them, as if Nicholas was going to outgrow it all. I begged him just to humor me and have a plan B in case the miracle cure didn't pan out. Fast forward to around my husband's 55th birthday in 2010. Nicholas turned 18 the following month. I had to ask myself the dreaded question that so many mothers of children and with special needs face. What happens when the school bus stops coming? I was visiting programs that were available once Nicholas transitioned to adult services. It didn't take long for me to realize that none of them were what we really wanted for Nicholas. Glorified babysitting with laps around the mall food court. Did you hear that? Qualified as community integration. Are you kidding me? I retired from teaching to work full-time with my son. I knew that he was a very different type of learner, but could keep learning new things throughout his lifetime and find joy in contributing to his community. I also knew that my son and our family were not alone. The state wasn't prepared for the tsunami of individuals with autism that would be transitioning to state-funded adult services. The bottom line was this. As a mother and an educator, I knew that the government was not going to provide the solution that was needed for my son and his classmates. My husband worked in the garment center by day, but was also a ranked Texas Hold'em professional poker player. On June 10th, 2010, he boarded a plane to compete at the World Series of Poker in Las Vegas. 20 minutes after takeoff, my husband suffered a massive heart attack and was pronounced dead. In that moment, I became a widow and the single parent to our Nicholas. Our family was now down to 2. I always knew that my son and his classmates were capable of and deserving of life. Long learning, new skills, education, and vocational classes which could lead to supported employment. I envisioned a program that truly mimicked the life you'd want for any of your kids. School, work, recreation, and community participation. I also knew that my son and his classmates were capable and deserving of lifelong learning, new skills, education, and vocational classes, which could lead to supported employment. I envisioned a program that truly mimicked the life you'd want for any of your children. School, work, recreation, and community participation in the communities they grew up in. Why couldn't I turn my local community into a university campus? Work, live, play, participate, and support our local community and other organizations. Creating an organization to support and teach necessary skills, provide supported employment, and offering meaningful educational opportunities was easy. But finding the jobs was a challenge. This moment was an inflection point. My fellow co-founder, Nicole Segru, and I made a decision. We already decided to create the kind of support system we knew our adult children would benefit from. But now, no jobs. If there were no jobs for our kids, then we'd have to create them. Nicole suggested we start our own business, a social enterprise, a business to employ individuals with disabilities. My husband and I were in the garment center. Nicole said, "Hey, everybody needs a t-shirt." And so the idea for a t-shirt business was born. We started experimenting in my backyard barn with one digital printing machine, which could produce only 75 t-shirts a day. We wrote protocols and task analysis for the t-shirt making process and had my son's life skills class come to the barn to make t-shirts. We would observe, we kept tweaking the process, but the concept was a perfect fit for individuals on the autism spectrum. Concrete, with a start and a finish. The concept was complete, and 2 nonprofits were created, one for the people and one for the products. The Nicholas Center, which deals with the education and support side, and Spectrum Designs Foundation, a business to train and offer employment opportunities to individuals on the autism spectrum. In February of 2011, the 2 businesses were officially declared nonprofits by the state of New York. In October of 2011, we opened our doors in Port Washington and never looked back. We outgrew our location within 2 years and had to expand. Unbelievable. And now we occupy 3 buildings in Port Washington. With every t-shirt we print, someone goes out into the world wearing proof that all people have something meaningful to contribute to society. And with every job we create or support, that person becomes a consumer and supports local businesses in the community. Work, being productive, and the opportunity to contribute meaningfully to community life are the foundations of dignity, self-respect, and happiness. Here we are 12 years later, serving over 140 families, creating state-of-the-art supported employment for individuals with disabilities, and creating new opportunities for an underserved population. The nonprofit may bear his name, but it wasn't just for Nicholas. The only birthday parties my son was ever invited to were from his life skills classmates. My husband's death made me realize that life is precious and fragile. So when God presents you with a challenge, you put on your mama bear hat, you suck it up, and you get the job done. Just that simple. Everything I did was for all of them. Nicholas and all of his classmates, all the Nicholases out there, so they could be together and grow into adulthood like their siblings who were going off to college or work. I did it for all the other Stellas out there too, for other parents who were as lost as I was in the challenging, complicated circumstances of having a child who would never be taking the typical path. I had the opportunity to turn a personal tragedy into something that could change many lives if I had the courage to believe in myself. And so I did with the help of my friends. God bless all of my friends. The word has spread about what we've been able to accomplish by pooling our resources, grit, skills, and hearts together. 2 years ago, with even more dedicated families involved, we opened a second location in Pleasantville, New York. This is the ripple effect the Nicholas Center has had on the world of autism, inclusion, advocacy, and community diversity. We offer vocational skills training to many school districts, and we partner with many organizations to help them support the community. We launched Port Provides, a grant-funded program that supports 5 food pantries in Port Washington. Did you hear that? 5 food pantries. We purchase, collate, and deliver weekly to support these food pantries. Now we have families that are grouping together to purchase homes in the local neighborhoods so their adult children can work, live, and be mobile in the community without needing transportation. 10 years ago, this was only a dream for the families we serve. But it's not just the families and the staff supporting our kids that we have to thank. It's our participants. They are blazing new trails for their peers and for that massive population of adults that will come after their school buses stop coming. They show us their incredible potential, their willingness to adapt, to work hard, to gain new skills, and to end the stigma around people who benefit from customized work and community experiences. They've shown us their skills, taught us life lessons, and contributed in the ways that are incredibly valuable. Kobe Yamato wrote a children's book entitled, What Do You Do with a Chance? It's about a child that doesn't know what to do with chances that present themselves in life and is searching for the answer. The moral of the story is, with a little courage, embrace the chances that come into your life because it just might be the start of something incredible. My son has been my greatest teacher. He has taught me more about the world and myself and continues to teach and inspire me. It is because of him that I found the courage to think and venture out of the box, to create a better future and advocate for those who cannot. I thought being a teacher was the best job I ever had until my son came into my life and changed my destiny. Inclusion is the key to growth, whether we are talking about within a family, a workplace, or social and community life. Everyone benefits when a community listens to a diverse mix of voices, and what Nicholas lacks in language, he makes up for in legacy, because the Nicholas Center, which bears his name and has him to thank, is changing the conversation. Did you hear that? The Nicholas Center is changing the conversation.